Yet another 1 lakh smartphone review. Here is the Google Pixel 10 Pro. I know some people call this the iPhones of the Android. I mean, with a lot of expectations, I did make this my primary smartphone. I think maybe on last September, and now it has been around exactly 4 months. And right now, I do have some second thoughts. I mean, there are a lot of good things to talk about this smartphone, but there are few hidden things that I only got to know after I started using this as a primary smartphone. The one I have here, I think this color is called Moonstone. I'll just link all the different colors of this particular product here. And this is a 256 GB variant. And yes, I did not buy this smartphone. This is a review unit sent from Google, but I'll be honest, this phone definitely has a lot of pros and a lot of cons. It is almost the same size as the iPhone 16 Pro or the latest iPhone 17, but the glossy metallic finish around this gives a vibe of around, I think, the stainless steel versions of iPhone. It's a beautiful phone, so I did not want to use this smartphone without a case. And during September, I had a really hard time finding a case, and this is the one that I found on Amazon, and it has already aged badly. The phone is around 207 grams. It is a dense phone, I would say. Like, for the size, this does feel like you're holding a piece of a tile. The backside, yes, does support the MagSafe charging with the magnetic attachment Qi2. And I don't have any scratches on the back, on the camera bump or the frame of the smartphone because I was using it with a case. Don't get me wrong, the display is amazing. It's a 6.3 inch 120Hz AMOLED display. They call it some Actua display or something, but it's a really bright display even in direct sunlight. The visibility is great. But the only problem that I have is it does have a scratch resistant Gorilla Glass Victus 2 or armor or something which is of top grade. But even with just 1 month of usage, I have started seeing a lot of scratches in the display of the smartphone. It's not like I had been doing a rough use. I've been very careful with the smartphones. I even have an S25 Ultra, which does not have a screen protector. It's been 1 year and there is no major scratches in that, but this one scratches very easily. I actually switched to this smartphone just before my Bali trip. I was using an Indian SIM and I did not have any network issues in India. When I took it to Bali, I actually activated an eSIM in this, and for my surprise, the connectivity issues that was there in the previous Pixel smartphones have been resolved, and I did not find any issues connecting in even the even some points like a hilly area and all. There also I was getting good coverage, so the modem is fine. But one hard realization that I had after switching to a Pixel 10 Pro was I was using an S25 Ultra and I had auto call recording for all the unknown numbers in that, but when it came to Pixel, I found that the Indian units of the Pixel does not have a call recording option. I mean, there is no way to record calls in this particular smartphone, not even with a beep. So that was a bummer for me. Now, the biggest plus point that people talk about is that the Google smartphone does focus more on AI, and this time they have something called the Magic Q, which uses on-device AI and a lot of processing inside to find relevant information when you need it. Now, when the smartphone launched, the way it was introduced was that when you're in a call, say you're calling an airline, then immediately in the Magic Queue there will be a pop-up which shows the PNR or the flight information. Or say you made a reservation in a particular hotel and then you are messaging someone and the person asks when is the reservation, it gives you an automatic suggestion by looking at all the information that you already had. But in reality, what I felt is it's not as seamless as how it is advertised. See, first of all, there is one big thing that you have to note. Most of the features work when you speak in English. Now, me being in India, that too being in South India, I speak a lot of South Indian languages and none of them works in the Magic Q thing. And secondly, the message suggestions do come in the messaging app, and I generally don't open my messaging app because it is filled with a lot of RCS advertisements. And I don't know in India who texts with the default messaging app either. They use WhatsApp or maybe give a call or Instagram. So that also did not feel good. But the only place where I felt this to be useful was the screenshots app. So you end up taking a lot of screenshots, and there is an app called the Screenshots, which actually has all the screenshots that you have taken, and it will analyze each and everything in that particular screenshot. And then later point of time, if you want to search anything, say I want to score of this, that, and anything you search, this will use AI to find the relevant screenshots, and that has been very helpful, especially when you have taken screenshots of the boarding pass or the Aadhaar card or the passport, and there are a ton of screenshots and you don't know where it is. You just search for a flight and then this comes up, That is really useful for me. And the Google Gemini circle to search, everything works properly, it's fine. And I have to definitely praise the UI. I didn't face any lag, glitch. It almost felt very seamless. The animations were smooth, buttery, the minor haptic feedbacks that you get. Overall, using the smartphone was a breeze. I did expect occasional lags, glitches, etc. considering this has the latest Tensor G5 chipsets and the Tensor chipsets do not have a good backtrack record. But this time TSMC did a very good job. As compared to the previous generations, this does not have that much of a heating issue. I just said that much of a heating issue because it does heat up in many scenarios, especially when you're outdoors taking a lot of photos, a lot of portrait photos, and there are few options in the camera app that uses on-device AI to process the photos, and this on-device AI processing during photos does make the phone heat up. And also, switching from a Samsung smartphone, when you go to a different country in a Samsung smartphone, there is a roaming clock that comes in the lock screen where it shows your local time and the time in India, but this does not have the dual roaming clock feature. And also, I did like the speaker performance. Speaker performance is also bassy, rich and loud. Before I talk about the camera, there is one more thing that I have to praise, is the battery life. I actually had a little bit of doubts when I saw the battery capacity, and I was like, oh, can it last a whole day, etc. But I seriously didn't have any battery anxiety when I was using the smartphone. I am a heavy user, and yes, I spoke about the trip that we had, and we had a lot of navigations, a lot of networks, hill stations here, there and that. But still, it did survive a day easily without a power bank. I know when I start from the hotel, I'd say around 10 o'clock after my breakfast, and then do all the navigations, roaming stuff, this, that and all. And when I come back to my hotel around 8 o'clock, I still would have around 10% of battery. That is great. And regarding charging, yes, this does support 45 watts of fast charging, but I felt it to work only up to 50%. Yeah, up to 50% it easily charges within 30 minutes, but after 50% it does take a lot of time. So generally I just plug it overnight. So that's what I do. Now coming to camera, I will show you a lot of camera samples. I don't have to specifically talk about Pixel cameras. See, the tone of the Pixel camera is neutral. It's not like oversaturated. It's not very dull. It's kind of a neutral tone is what Pixel maintains, and that is visible here as well. I found the night photos to be better in this. It even has that AI enhancement stuff when you go zoom in too far, which is kind of okay, you will know that it's AI. But the biggest bummer is that it does take amazing portrait photos, but this has a 5x telephoto camera and that does not support portrait photos. I mean, you don't have a mode in the 5x to adjust the bokeh, so you have to rely on the natural bokeh. So if your subject is close enough and you're taking, you will get kind of a decent background blur. But if the subject is a little bit far away and you want to take a bokeh photo, it does not allow you to add the bokeh while shooting. You have to then go back to the gallery. Yeah, this does not have a gallery. It's a Google Photos app. You have to go to the Google Photos app and then use the magic editor and add the blur on top of it. That is a little bit of a tedious process. At least they could have given a toggle to add the blur, and that particular blur is not as efficient as the photos that have the actual blur integrated in the camera. But to my surprise, the videos shot in this smartphone is great. There are many videos in my channel where I show the iPhone, and that iPhone shots are taken from this particular Pixel smartphone. And right now, why I love shooting in Pixel smartphones is that I edit in a Mac, I edit in Final Cut Pro, and to share on Mac, I can just directly airdrop. I can choose the quick share and my Mac shows there, my iPhone shows there, and I can easily airdrop it via the Pixel phone. It's especially there for the Pixel 10 series, and the reverse vice versa can also be done. So that is a great addition. But in the software part, what I noticed is, yes, the cameras are great. The camera takes amazing photos, amazing videos, it's stable, but the moment you are using a particular app that uses camera, say Snapchat, say you're giving a video snap, you just take a video and then move your finger up, it zooms, but the moment it zooms and it switches to the 5x camera or any camera, it's the footage starts shaking. It's like even the minor handshakes that you have is prominently visible when you're using camera inside any applications. But the same video, if you're taking from the camera application, the footage is very stable. I don't know, the stabilization stuff only works on the native camera. It doesn't work on Instagram, Snapchat, etc. So I didn't find that particular video option to be good. And now you're asking me, are you satisfied with this particular Pixel? I would say yes, I am satisfied with this particular Pixel, considering there are some things here and there that some can be improved via software update and some other things that you have to live with. But the biggest concern people had was this launched for 1 lakh rupees, and people were like, to get a Pixel smartphone for 1 lakh, it's not that worth. I would have told you to wait for the price drop and then get the smartphone. But right now, considering the AI boom and a lot of basic smartphones, the basic process that used to come in a 20k or a 30k smartphones are launching in a 50 to 70k segment. Thinking about the price inflation right now for 1 lakh, this does make sense. Yeah, so that's all I have to talk about the Google Pixel 10 Pro. If you have any doubts, just ask me in the comments. I do reply to that. And if you're new to this channel, do subscribe and consider watching other videos. Until next time, bye-bye.